John Dryden's poem Flecknoe is a famous example of mock heroic satire. Mock heroic satire is a literary form that uses the style and grandeur of epic poetry to ridicule a subject. In this poem, Dryden attacks the poet Thomas Shadwell, whom he considered a dull and unimaginative writer. The poem tells the story of Richard Flecknoe, referred to as the King of Nonsense, passing on his literary throne to Shadwell, his heir in the realm of mediocrity. Through clever use of irony, similes, metaphors, and mock heroic language, Dryden presents a witty and biting critique of Shadwell and his lack of literary talent. The speaker of the poem is an unnamed narrator, likely Dryden himself. The poem is mostly told in the third person, allowing Dryden to describe the action and characters with authority. At certain moments, the poem shifts into first person when quoting Flecknoe or other characters directly, giving the satire an added layer of realism and dramatization. The poem is written in heroic couplets, a popular style in the 17th century consisting of rhymed pairs of iambic pentameter lines. The poem begins with Flecknoe, an aging monarch who has long ruled over the land of nonsense, deciding that it is time to choose a successor. He considers his options but quickly realizes that Shadwell, one of his many sons, is the most suitable heir, not because of talent but because of his extreme lack of wit and creativity. Shadwell, described as mature in dullness, is portrayed as the perfect continuation of his father's legacy of mediocrity. The setting of the poem is Augusta, a crumbling city that represents the degraded state of literature. The city is filled with brothels and ruins, a symbol of corruption and decay. In this land, genuine poets and playwrights avoid entering, leaving it to be inhabited by untalented and witless writers. The narrator introduces the figure of Fame, who announces Shadwell's coronation as the new king of nonsense. A large crowd of inferior poets and hacks gathered to witness the ceremony. Shadwell makes his way to the throne by stepping on the remains of mangled poets, highlighting his dominance over other bad writers. Instead of receiving traditional symbols of royalty, he is given a mug of ale to signify his reign of foolishness and laziness. Before passing the crown, Flecknoe gives his son advice. He encourages Shadwell to follow his symbol and the style of other mediocre poets like Richard Ogleby, but warns him not to imitate talented figures like Ben Jonson or John Fletcher. Flecknoe prophesies that Shadwell will inspire future poets to create works that are even duller and less meaningful than his own. Flecknoe also offers Shadwell a philosophy of poetry based on the insipid and banal. He advises his son to write tragedies that make audiences laugh unintentionally and comedies that put them to sleep. He urges him to use weak forms of writing like anagrams and to stretch a single word into endless variations without adding meaning. The poem concludes with Flecknoe disappearing into the earth, leaving Shadwell crowned as the undisputed ruler of mediocrity. The satire's main point is clear. Dryden mocks Shadwell by exaggerating his dullness, showing that his only true talent is his lack of talent.